Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. I'm your host, Jessica Williams. Thank you so much for joining me today. First up, I am taking you inside of the Fort Wayne Museum of Art as we explore their newest exhibit that's all about quilts. We're going to take a tour and I'm going to speak with their curator. Then it's Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry, and today we're diving into ketamine and how this is a new hope for treatment-resistant depression. That and more happening now.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment sponsored by Fort Wayne Museum of Art. I am here at the Fort Wayne Museum of Art looking at their newest exhibit. It was a time to sew, and as you can see, there are so many different quilts behind me. They have about 25 of them, and they are all historic. So it's so fun to walk around, look at the history, and learn more about it, and we're gonna do that today, and you're invited. Let's do it. I am now joined by Suzanne Slick, who is the Collection Information Specialist here at the Fort Wayne Museum of Art. Hello, Suzanne.
Hello,
How
Jessica.
are you?
Good to meet you today.
Good to meet you too. Okay, so we're standing in another area of the museum, which is so large. I mean, you really can't run out of things to explore.
That's
but
the
you
goal.
just launched this new exhibit. It was a time to sew. What is this all about?
Well, the museum has been collecting quilts since 1992. We're up to about 75 quilts now. Most of them are Amish-made quilts, but we've also added some quilts that are not Amish, and we recently got them prepared to display, and I wanted them to get out to be seen. So Charles said that I could do a show on quilts, and that's how that happened.
Yeah, and I like the connection between appreciating the art on the wall, but also learning about it. So as people are walking by, they can read the cards on the wall and kind of see the fun facts that are presented as well.
Yeah, we're fortunate in knowing many of the makers of the quilts that we have. David Pottinger, who we bought 55 quilts from in 1992, kept really detailed records of the families and the known makers of the quilts, the dates and so on.
Wow.
So I've tried to include that in the text labels because I like knowing that personal information, and quilts are so personal anyway.
Yes.
So I tried to capture at least some little fact about their lives and
Interesting. And one thing I was reading over there is just what qualifies as a quilt. The fact that it has to be 3 layers of fabric and how they're sewn. And though modern times people are using machines, but a lot of these are hand stitched.
They were hand stitched. Yeah, the word quilt goes back to, what year was it? It's on one of the cards here, but thousands of years. It's an old word, and it just basically means that layers of fabric with a stuffing in between that are sewn together.
Yeah.
So we're still doing that all these years later.
It's so fun. It's so nostalgic too. It's very traditional, I think, for a lot of families. So people will enjoy being able to walk and kind of see how someone else envisioned it, and just really thinking about the little souvenirs sometimes, or like a piece of a clothing or a piece of a memory that you can sew and then hand it off.
Yes, that's what I was kind of referring to in how personal quilts are to people. There's a lot of family lore sewn into them, and they're very generational, and a lot of times girls, it's mainly women who make quilts, not 100%, but little girls learn from their moms and their grandmothers. And so all those things are passed down, and then the quilts passed down with the knowledge and the scraps and patterns and so on,
Which
the
is
stories.
so cool to be able to see the history of quilts and really how far back they go in this museum from the 1960s and before. So let's walk around and kind of take a peek and chat about them.
Okay, great.
All right, let's do it.
I'd love to do that.
how beautiful this is. And you say
is a
this is
beauty.
kind of like ancient.
Well, it's from the 1870s, we think. It came from a community in Pennsylvania settled by Germans, and the community had a funny name. It was called the Goshenhofen community, and it was acquired by Lois Levin of Born Again Quilts in Fort Wayne, Indiana, who we have acquired several quilts from. And it's in pristine condition, and it's just an amazing piece for its age.
Yes, it's
The
so
colors,
lovely, and it looks
yeah.
holiday vibes. Actually,
It
this whole
does,
wall,
yeah.
as we take a step back, you know, looking at these quilts look Thanksgiving, and then this one looks Christmas as well,
Yeah.
but this is not the original color.
That's right. And in that era, red, green, and white quilts were very trendy, super popular. So back in the Civil War era, these would have been brilliant red and green on a white background.
Wow.
And they're beautifully sewn, and though they're faded, I just had to bring them out because they have a story, and the fact that they're faded doesn't diminish their value to me. So they were made with fugitive dye, which means the dye shifted over time, so the green became brown. The red was more stable back then, so the red remains kind of red. It would have been more brilliant back in the day, though.
Like a burn. Okay, well let's step over here, because this one has really caught my eye, because this one really brings in the textile like form, where it is block by block having different meaning. So tell me about this piece.
This is a form of a crazy quilt. It was Amish made 1935. It's a crazy quilt made of blocks. You can see each block here, and each block is embroidered with the family name. Most of them say somewhere Napanee, Indiana on them. It's got a date on it too, which is a wonderful thing to have.
Yeah.
It's displayed like this because it's too heavy to hang on the wall.
Yeah,
if it were to hang, it would be very stressful for the whole quilt because gravity would be working against it all the time. So our tech team made this wonderful table so that I could get this one out.
I love that.
Yeah.
And bringing in that tradition we talked about, different moments of a family that they can just kind of have all in one place. And then this one here looks like it explores different patterns. How far back in time do these go?
These objects all came with the Pottinger purchase in 1992, so they are also from LaGrange, Indiana. And they're just bits of patterns that would have been kept probably as guides for the quilters. So if you wanted to make like there's a little one over there that's called Hole in the Barn Door. You know, if you wanted to make that quilt, you could refer to your sample. Or if you went to a friend's house and you saw a quilt pattern that you really liked, you might make a little sketch like that.
Of it. Yeah, and then the little push pins. It's so cool to see how they looked back then in the 1860s and 70s. And so this over here has a special meaning.
Well,
I mean, it's really cool.
It is really cool. These two quilts were made during World War II when cotton fabric was not readily available. It was being used for the war effort. So the civilians were encouraged to use feed sacks and other commodity bags to make things from. So if you look at the detail down at the bottom of this one, there's printing on that piece there, and it's some kind of old feed bag, I think. But in 1945, that would have been fabric that you could have found. And this one as well, this little crib quilt, might have been made from commodity bags too. I don't know for sure, but it's from 1944, so that would certainly fit. And I found some great information about commodity bags back then. It's estimated that millions of Americans wore clothing that incorporated feed sacks back then during the war.
So fascinating. Okay, I guess style was style for them. Okay, so looking back at this wall here, we have this massive wall, beautiful accent, and popping the colors of these quilts. How do these quilts kind of roll all together when it comes to the exhibit?
Well, I wanted to get out the ones that hadn't been seen before. So the two in the center were fairly recent acquisitions. And in fact, this log cabin quilt just came to us last summer.
Oh, wow.
And
so intricate.
Yeah, it was made
So creative.
in New Jersey. This is another one that's not an Indiana quilt. It's made of dress scraps.
Oh, yes.
From the 20s.
Really?
And it was given to...
Silky. I just see the silk. They liked it silky.
I love it. It was given to a pastor's wife by an auxiliary group at the church. They got together and sewed this quilt in the late 20s and gave it to the pastor's wife as a gift. And the granddaughter of that woman gave it to us last summer.
Oh.
And the family just came in Saturday and saw it.
Oh, that's...
And we're very excited, very pleased, and a little emotional about seeing their grandmother's quilt on the wall. So
it's precious.
Very special in that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And this one here is just stunning. I mean, just the creativity and the micro size squares brings it all together.
Yeah. It's called Trip Around the World. And okay, not being a quilt expert.
Yeah,
again,
1926.
Yeah, more synthetic fabrics. That's why they're kind of shiny and very bright. The tiny squares are often used to make postage stamp quilts where hundreds of little tiny squares are sewn together. So
wow.
That's a
so
beauty.
this wall over here is just giving me a lot of bouncing colors, pastels, just more youthful and the idea. So let's talk about this one, the little sunflower wall.
Yeah, well, that one's here because it's probably my favorite of the Pottinger quilts. So since I got to pick the quilts, like, okay, I got to put the Dresden plate out. That's the name of the pattern. It was a really, really popular pattern, so you see it a lot in quilt collections. It's just beauty, and it's so big. I wanted a really big piece to fill a big space on the wall, and I picked the other two around it because the colors go together so nicely.
They do.
It's as simple as that.
So 1935, wow. So as people come and enjoy, you have really just created just a flow of the material. What was your experience like curating this?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to ask a personal question like that. It was a lot of fun. I've been working on the quilts for a few years. Charles asked me to work with a consultant, Lois, who I mentioned earlier, to look at our quilts and kind of assess the whole collection a few years ago, and she is the expert, not me. But I did learn a lot from her, and it put an idea in my head about showing the older quilts that have changed over time, like the two with the fugitive dyes. I found that story so fascinating. It's like they're still elegant and beautiful, even though they faded. It's just they're old.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you have something special coming up.
Oh yes, on January 8th at 5:30, there is a Second Thursday event. On Second Thursdays, we often have a little party, kind of an opening thing. So Lois Levin from Born Again Quilts is going to do a talk at 5:30. I will do a gallery tour at 6:30. There's a cash bar, snacks, and good festivities to have on a cold January night. So would love for people to come down and catch the show before it closes, because it will close just a few days after that.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
And if you would like more information about the Fort Wayne Museum of Art, we'll have their website listed below. You can check out all of the exhibits that they have to offer and how long they run. This quilting exhibit lasts only through January 11th, so you want to go ahead and get your tickets and come out and pay them a visit. And I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Fort Wayne Museum of Art.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. Welcome back to another edition of Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry. And today we're talking about new hope for treatment-resistant depression. And joining me is Sean Goddard, owner of Viking Psychiatry. Hey there, Sean.
Hi, how's it going?
Good to see you.
Same here.
Yes. Okay, so as we kind of think about this topic, how do you feel that ketamine will make a difference when it comes to traditional antidepressants?
Yeah, you know, we've talked about ketamine before, and I really wanted to revisit this because it's becoming more familiar for people, right? And we've treated a very significant amount of people here in Fort Wayne and seen a lot of success. People who typically look at using ketamine for mental health are individuals, like when it comes to depression, who normally have tried the traditional avenues, right? Like medications, and have had multiple medications fail them, tried psychotherapy, maybe had moderate or limited success, and really feel like they've hit a wall. Many of them that I talk to say that they feel like there's something wrong with them, that they're broken. And I don't believe that's true at all. I believe they just haven't found the right treatment. And so ketamine offers a treatment option that is a completely different approach to the treatments that we've been offering in psychiatry for a while. Okay, and can you just describe what that treatment looks like? Like, what is it? Is it something that someone has to inhale? Is it a pill? Like, what is it? Yeah, so there's a couple different ways that you can administer ketamine, anywhere from intranasal, which means sprayed in the nose, IV, IM, which means an injection. There actually is an inhaled version that can be done, but the main way that we administer ketamine at Viking Psychiatry is via IV. Okay. And so typically people come in, get an IV started, get hooked up to the infusion. The infusion itself is 30 to 40 minutes long in most cases, and then they have a time period afterwards where they're relaxing and recovering post-infusion. But it's designed to be, this is a very comfortable environment. This is not, you're not walking into like a cancer center, right? And it's all white walls and people right next to you. You're in a relaxing recliner in a dark room with kind of nebulights going and music in the background, really designed to intensify the effects and provide a calming effect and allow you to process while going through the procedure. Yeah, it sounds less intimidating for sure. And I've seen your facility, and you have the comfortable recliners and a blanket there, and you know, you do make it cozy for them. And so who would be the proper candidate to receive this type of treatment? Yeah, so when it comes to depression, typically what we're looking at is somebody who has tried and had at least 2 medications fail them in the treatment of their depression. This necessarily doesn't have to be waited until you've failed 5 or 10 medications, been failed by 5 or 10 medications, or gone through, for example, ECT, you know, some people call electric shock therapy, right? Electroconvulsive therapy. If you've tried the traditional approach and it's not effective, then you are potentially a candidate. But it's not just for depression. We've used this in PTSD with a lot of success, eating disorders, anxiety. There's a lot that we can do with this treatment because of the way that it works in the brain. One of the ways that I explain it to people is if you have a muscle that's wasting away, right, you go get physical therapy, you build it back up. And so, but if you have pain and those types of things, they might prescribe you pain medication or a muscle relaxer. That's treating the symptoms of the disease. The PT is treating the disease itself. The medications we've been using in psychiatry for a long time are essentially treating the symptoms of the disease. Ketamine and some of the other modalities that we offer are finally the physical therapy for the brain, right? They're treating the disease and causing growth and healing. Yeah, that is important. Tackle it from the root and not try to work on everything around it, really. And so as people, go through that experience, what type of results can they expect? Because one thing that we've discussed before is the fact that an oral medication can take a while, right? Weeks to see if it's even working for you. How does ketamine work as far as speed? Yeah, one of the amazing things is with ketamine is there's studies that show that we have brand new dendrites being formed in the brain in as little as 4 hours after treatment, right? So that growth is occurring. We see suicidal ideations terminated as little as one treatment. But I can use a young lady that I treated recently, struggling with depression, not doing well, We treated her after the first infusion. She's like, I really don't feel any different, right? Because everybody wants to feel better now, and that's understandable. And I talk about the stacking method and how sometimes it takes a few. And so she just finished her 6 infusions, and this is a young lady that is now reporting significant improvement in energy, motivation. Her depression scores are down about 80%. The first people to tell her they noticed a difference were her kids, right? Her kids were talking about how mom's coming back. And so those are the type of results that we want to see for everybody. We hope for fast, right?
Yeah.
But the most important is not fast, it's significant changes. So.
And what is the frequency that someone can actually take this and come see you?
Yeah, so we have 3 main protocols that we do. It's once a day for 3 days in a row. We have twice a week for 3 weeks, and then twice a week for 12 weeks, or 6 weeks, excuse me. And those protocols vary depending on what we're treating and the extent of what we're treating. And then a lot of individuals end up following up for what we call boosters, where they've gone through the process, they're doing well, but we give little boosters to keep pushing forward and continuing to cause growth and recovery. So
wonderful. Well, these innovative treatments definitely provide hope for those who are suffering. So thank you so much for sharing about it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And if you would like more information about Viking Psychiatry, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after this break. This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. Join me, Jessica Williams, on Living Local 15 every weekday morning at 9 on WANE 15.
Watch Living Local 15 with Jessica Williams on WANE 15. Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group. Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.